What is up, Broncos country? Today we have a fantastic show planned for y'all. We got the CEO, Kinley. I am your host, Fanatic Dak. You know how we do here. If it ain't about the Broncos, book 'em.
Welcome.
Okay, let's go.
What is up, my boy? What is up, Broncos country? What's up, ladies and gents? All you viewers, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome.
Welcome.
How's it going, bro?
It's going good. Michael Ronk in the house. Good evening.
Boom, right out the bat.
Go Broncos. What's up? What's up?
I salute to you, bro. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. We have a lot to get into. I'm excited. We're missing Jazz. We miss you deeply. She couldn't join us tonight, but that's okay. She'll be here next show that we do run on Thursday. But let's get into the thick of things, my boy. While we were gone, while we were out, Zach Allen got his extension. Yeah, show me the money kind of thing.
The money.
He got a 4-year, $102 million deal. 69.5 guaranteed, and that comes out to about 25.5 annual average. That's about what we were thinking that he could potentially get with the Broncos to stay in Denver and call his home. Yeah. How do you feel about that, bro?
I'm extremely happy. You know, after the Cortland deal, I was hoping we'd get Zach Allen done first before Benito. Hopefully we get Benito done, but he's worth it. You know, lock him down for the next 4 years. You know, like I'm excited. We got it done because everybody was panicking. We're like, okay, when the extensions are coming? When are these extensions are coming? Money is just gonna keep going and keep going. You know, so I'm glad we locked those two down. One more to go. Hopefully 2 more to go because we would love to keep John Franklin Myers here, but we'll see.
And it was crazy, bro. Honestly, like I honestly thought he was gonna be the first deal to get done out of the Broncos. And Cortland Sutton, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, and John Franklin Myers. That continues to be a question mark if he becomes one that gets done. We'll find out down the line. But for now, Zach Allen is a Denver Bronco again for the foreseeable future in the orange and blue. Couldn't be more happier. He's the most versatile defensive lineman in the game, one of the best. I think has one of the greatest impacts in terms of like an Aaron Donald impact on the defense. Offenses have to, you know, they got to take some meds or something.
You got to watch out for 99.
They're going to be worried about him.
You got to watch out for him.
So, I mean, yeah, and it was an interesting weekend or week, I should say, after our pod, because you had a tweet about Nick Bonito, who I think is going to be extended rather soon, but I'm going to add that to the screen here, ladies and gentlemen. And Kinley, you had about 45K interactions, viewers on this, bro. Excuse me, not interactions. And you're like, this is what I got to say to some saying as we should trade for Bonito for Parson. It's funny, dude.
Yeah, let's just say that tweet got a lot of feedback, you know, and some positive, majority positive, but other people's like, are you crazy? So I'll say this: Parson is a great player. He is a great player. Yeah. There's no denying it. There's no denying it. There's one problem: what we'd have to give up for Parsons is not going to be Benito and Parsons straight up. Let's just get that out the way. So I don't like that. 2, Parsons is more of a social media guy. You know, he has his own podcast and what he does. That's not a Sean Payton guy. Sean Payton is building a culture here. Okay. And he has what he has in the building is what he wants. Okay. Like how many players have wanted trades and everybody's like, oh, we should get him. And Sean Payton's like, nah, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
We're good. So, you know, he's building his team the way he wants to build it. And he has his culture, and we standing with what we have. So pay Nick Bonito, and I feel exactly what Nick Bonito's doing in the picture. So that's where I stand.
George Payton and this front office continue to with the track record of taking care of our own with the homegrown in Nick Bonito and hopefully Nick Bonito, right?
Right.
But with Zach Allen, you look at PS2, Quinn Miners, Jonathan Cooper. We can go down the list, ladies and gentlemen. And we're taking care of our own. Like you said, Sean Payton has built a culture, an exciting culture for the foreseeable future. Speaking of culture,
Yeah,
um,
Mike.
yeah,
You
Nick
know,
Bonito, he's my guy too. I think you and I were talking yesterday, bro, and it was like pertaining to Bonito is that um, he didn't really get to start the whole year last year, right? Baron Browning was the guy ahead of him, right? Before he dealt with injuries. Unfortunately, I do miss Baron Browning, but Nick Bonito this will be his first season. You and I were chatting about yesterday that will be his first season, bro. So
he's the full-time starter. Yes.
all-time starter. Yeah. And it's like he continues to show progression each and every year. Last year, he had 13 and a half sacks. Of course, everybody's like, well, there was one quote or one reply on your tweet that was like, well, show me where he can defend against the run. And I'm like, people act like this man cannot improve on the run defense. Like, he's going to get there. And it looks like he added some size to his frame. He looked like he'd been hitting the weight. I don't know if he's been with Dwayne the Rock Johnson or something, but you know what I mean. He's big. He's built different now this season, ladies and gentlemen, and I expect him to really improve in that department.
I do too. I definitely agree. He's gotten better every season he's played. You got to pay him, and he was second, third pass rusher coming in. So you mean to tell me, in these 3 years that he's had that, sub role, he's had over 21 sacks. I mean, I'll take that. That's a lot, for someone who wasn't the starting every game. So
yeah,
but all in all, I give him his money. I feel like it'll get done. We have the ownership. You know what I'm saying? Sean Payton is pretty much said like, it'll get done.
Yeah.
Well, that's just that. That's just that.
And something too with Nick Bonito is he's a game wrecker.
Yeah.
We've seen it multiple times. The game against the Raiders where he forces the sack fumble. What's up, Chase? Yo, what's up? Thank you for joining us, man.
Yep.
So yeah, he's shown that he can do that. He sacked Mahomes. He's the pick six against the Colts. It is a pick six. It wasn't a fumble. We can go down that road, down that rabbit hole, back and forth. We're going to continue to, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Not to mind you, it feels like sometimes people forget that he had the 6-game sack streak. It should have been 7, but he had that as well, and that hadn't been held since Von Miller. So I think, Nick Bonito will be exciting to watch this season. So speaking of the culture, Sean Payton made some comments stating that he believes that this team can potentially be contenders this year. He alluded to the ownership, the quarterback, Bo Nix, the offensive line, and the defense. Ooh, do you agree with that notion, or how do you feel, Kinley?
I agree. You just want to get in the dance. When you get in the dance, which is playoffs, when you get there, anything goes. Anything can happen. And the formula to win a Super Bowl is a defense and a good run game. And if you can establish that, and honestly, a quarterback that's not going to turn the ball over. And what does Bo do best? Not turn the ball over.
Take sacks, yeah.
Right, and doesn't take sacks. So I don't blame Sean for thinking like this, and I think the same way. I understand people say like, oh, I don't feel like we're there. Like if we win a playoff game, that's a successful year. Forget that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We want a championship. Sean Payton wants a championship. Bo wants a championship. This team wants a championship. So they're not there. They should have that on their minds. And I feel like we could be a Super Bowl dark horse this year. So yes, I want a ring, and I hope that's what we get this year.
Yeah, dude. And it's like I think this team not only for this season, but the foreseeable future. I feel that this Denver Broncos team will be a problem. We're young in the tooth, man. It's not like we're some aging team, that's just coming around, all of a sudden and signed a bunch of older vets, no, like we're having that internal growth. You're seeing it now with some of the wide receivers some of the other talented players that we have drafted in past drafts. You know, Nick Bonito being right up there with one of them. Quinn Miner's another one. We can go down the list all day, you know, but unfortunately we don't got the time to do that, ladies and gentlemen. We'd be here all night.
Right.
But no, so now I know the Broncos are kind of tired of seeing each other. Bo Nick's probably tired of seeing that same defense.
Right.
The defense has constantly been a problem during training camp or what have you. Threw some interceptions. He's finally thrown some interceptions. Are you concerned the way you know what's happened with that? The way the defense has just you know just caused havoc on this offense? Are you
Not at
concerned?
all. Not at all. The defense. So people got to understand the defense will always be steps ahead of the offense coming into training camp and coming into like preseason play and all that. Defense will always be ahead of the offense because of stuff that they need to install and stuff like that. So.
Right.
I'm not necessarily worried. This will be a top 3 defense, and they won't be number 3, in my opinion. Take that as you will. And so Bo has to go against that every day. Picks are going to happen. If Bo's not throwing picks, something's wrong. That means he's not taking chances. He's not seeing like, okay, hey, can I try to fit this ball into this tight window? And he has to learn from mistakes. But if he's not making any mistakes, then how do you learn? And what better way to learn than versus a top 3 defense?
Iron sharpens iron, bro.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the interceptions. People want to freak out about it. Go ahead and freak out, but it's not that. It's not serious. I'm not worried.
And yeah, and Peyton Manning, like we've talked before on this pod, has made errors, in training camp, throwing interceptions. You really got to test what you can do in training camp and get all those bugs out the way, bro. That way, when it comes to a game setting, that you are definitely, everybody's in sync. You know where to go with the football. You know what you can and can't get away with, right?
Yeah.
But damn, I'm excited. What are some of your expectations going in? We got finally joint practice, ladies and gentlemen. Joint practice with the 49ers preseason amongst us. What are some of your expectations as we get into the thick of things Wednesday, tomorrow with the 49ers?
I want to see, my expectations. I want Troy Franklin to continue his great camp that he's having. Those everybody's going to be locked in on one-on-ones because it's coming. Like Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant. I'm expecting them to.
My stuff. Damn you.
I'm just expecting them to continue to do what they've been doing in camp. And also, Lavelle Bailey has been getting a lot of buzz around him. So I'm expecting him to continue that also. And what better way than against the 49ers? Can you be that starter next to Dre Greenlaw? So I think that'll be something to watch, and especially him going up against Christian McCaffrey, who seems to be healthy from what I've seen. So that'll be an interesting to.
Yeah, dude. And in the NFL, it's a game of opportunity. It's a league of opportunity, right? Next man up. You've seen some of the injuries suffered. Unfortunately, there was big expectations, I think, for Drew Sanders because of his athletic ability, to see if maybe he can put away the injuries aside, and really show potential of staying healthy. Unfortunately, he was derailed again by another injury, but I hope he comes back stronger and better than ever. That's all we can hope for. But Lavelle Bailey, I think, is special. I really appreciate his instincts in terms of the football IQ, reading the quarterback, keeping his eyes on the quarterback, and baiting him into throwing interceptions. And some of the plays that I watched him make back at Fresno State, he did it against the Cardinals last season. He had a big preseason. He's definitely a big name that's exciting to a lot of this fan base that really has blown up, So I'm excited for him. Another thing would be I'm kind of a little uneasy about the depth, I guess you could say, about the defensive line as we go into the joint practices. I want to see some guys step up. I think aside from maybe like John Franklin Myers, Zach Gallen, Malcolm Roach, do we see Savion Jones finally say like, hey, I'm here and this is why you drafted me. He's versatile as well. He can just disrupt the pass, as a pass rusher and stop the run. Very excited for him, man, out of the LSU that we drafted. It was a 3rd round draft pick. Was he our third towards the end?
3rd or 4th?
third or fourth. I'm drawing a blank right now, ladies and gentlemen. If
I think
anybody watching
he's
this,
fifth round.
comment please. But he's a force anyway, dude, and he's projected to potentially be a John Franklin Myers replacement down the line. We'll find out, So he's a name that I'm excited. What about you, bro? Any of the rookies?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him. And that's if he hits, if he steps up, that's probably the reason why John Franklin Myers isn't getting contract talks right now. But there's other guys also in Savion. There's Jordan Jackson.
Yeah.
There's Uwazurike. Like, can we finally see him, take that step? Because it does concern you, the guys behind John Franklin Myers and Zach Allen. So, you got to hope that those guys can step up. We saw a little bit from Jordan Jackson last year. I will say that, you saw some highlights, some shines from him, but yeah, those guys need to have, I want them to have a good joint practice. I'll be watching closely, not live, but I'll be watching closely.
A lot of guys that have been Evan Ingram's rightfully so gotten the shine, the spotlight at the tight end position. Very exciting. But Troutman's another guy, of course, that I think are definitely going to be involved in this offense. But looking at the tight end room, I'm kind of looking at it and I'm thinking like, hey, man, let's look at Caleb Lohner. Let's look at why Sean Payton, took a flyer on him in the 7th round. 4 receptions, 4 touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And that's special too, So yeah, I mean, I think he makes a move. And also, does Lucas Kroll? I've heard some great things coming out of training camp. Unfortunately, we can't be boots on the ground, but from what I've heard, he's also taking that next step in his development. Can he be something coupled with maybe a Evan Ingram or what's his name? I'm sorry, I just forgot his name. Adam Troutman. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Troutman. So I'm looking for some dudes, to step up from the tight end position. You and I were just talking earlier too about this secondary. This is going to be a deep secondary, bro, and it's going to really come down. The talent is so thick that it's like, do we keep 5? I mean, do we keep 6 guys? What do you think, bro?
Yeah, I definitely think you keep 6 because of how Trent Sheffield, I believe, is he's kind of underrated, but he does everything well. And he seemed to have a good chemistry with Bo. And so I think we keep 6. And being that we're on the topic of receivers, Mike says, who is going to be the number 2 wide receiver behind Courtland Sutton?
I'll give you your flowers. I'll give you the floor. You go ahead, baby boo. I'm right here with you, bro. I'm listening. I'm all ears. Give it to us. Give it to him.
Man, I'm still on the Pat Bryant train. It probably won't be Pat Bryant. I just feel like he should be. But it seems like all signs point to Vele if he stays healthy. Apparently he's been dealing with a lower leg injury, something like that. He's missed a couple of practices, but I think he'll be Vele. I still have hopes. I did put out there in the hot take that Pat Bryant would be wide receiver 2 by the start of the season. We're not there yet. So
keep receipts, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll clip this shit if you ever would get down that road.
Yeah, so I definitely think you'll be Vele, Mike. That's just my personal opinion. But I still got that take out there that Pat Bryant would be wide receiver 2 by the start of the season.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I saw Cody Rourke, who does a phenomenal job when covering the Denver Broncos, a tweet that was made. Of course. Shout out to you, Cody, if you ever watch this, bro. Yeah, I think he had put out that the primary receivers right now were Sutton, Vele, and the rest are platooning in, man. But my guy is Troy Franklin, bro. I've been on him since last season. I'm an Oregon Duck at heart. The green and yellow gets to me sometimes. That Duck Dynasty, which a lot are calling it, the connection between Bo Nix and Troy Franklin is something special. Yeah. I'm excited because he can operate in the Z. He can operate in the slot. He's going to do a bunch of things. He's added on some muscle. He's yoked up as well himself, to really probably play a role in the running game as well, something that Sean Payton really wants to get out of his wide receivers is if they can contribute in that facet of the game. no block, no rock, right?
Right.
Is the saying, right? So yeah, I'm all for that, you know. So kudos to Sean Payton because this wide receiver room, yes, it's unproven going into the season, but I really feel like this wide receiver room hasn't been felt so deep in quite some time, bro. We're gonna go six deep with this wide receiver room,
Yeah.
and so it's so deep that guys that names that have popped up like Jerwan Newton, you know, what's the other one that I saw? Bandy. There's another two names floating around that I'm drawing a blank, but they might just have to be practice squad guys. Honestly, we're keeping six.
Yeah.
Who are your six that you think that the Broncos end up with, bro?
Oh, I think it's gonna be Court, Mims, Vele, Franklin, Bryant, and Sheffield. Sherfield, sorry, Sherfield.
Sheffield, yeah.
I think
Um,
that's the six. I think that's the six, and I mean Newton is good from what I hear,
yeah.
and unless he can,
Can we sneak
unless
him
he,
through the practice squad? I know
unless he
it's too
can
early.
be, I mean, unless he could be a special teams guy like Sherfield is,
That's gonna
he
be tough, dude. And you
right
know, to
exactly.
go out to give more credit to Sherfield is he's a solid run blocker as well as at the wide receiver
Yeah,
position, kind of like what Little Jordan Humphrey was, you know.
yeah, but that's why you have these joint practices, to
Yeah, so
see
it's gonna.
this is when the coaches are going to be evaluating the most, like with these joint practices, and also they're going to be looking at like that's one thing we got to pay attention to this new run scheme. How well is this O line going to how well is this O line going to gel with that run scheme, and how well will the running backs do? That's
And
something we also
I'm
got
trying
to.
new running backs that we have to go in that backfield. And a J.K. Dobbins, though he didn't practice today, but I heard amazing things for R.J. Harvey. You know, but I know it wasn't really like that much going on from what I've read some of the tweets. But that's okay. We're not there, boots on the ground. But I'm just excited to get into football, baby. You know, it is when it's another team. You're just licking your chops and you want to hear things.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward to. I know you got J.K. Dobbins 1K. Just don't sleep on R.J.
I'm
Harvey, man. That's all I'm gonna
okay.
say.
I'm
Well,
not sleeping.
look,
Hey,
we're
what if
not
I sleep with one eye open like that? I'll be like that.
we're not even going. We're not even gonna get it. We're not even gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But also what I expect. I expect Bo to run the offense a lot better than last. I think it was versus the Packers. We did a joint practice. And I mean, I heard we did kick their butt, but I just want us to
Oh, that
replicate
was
that.
crazy.
Yeah, I want that same
Same energy,
kind of
bro.
result. Yeah, same kind of result. So there's a lot of things, looking forward to in this joint
You know,
practice.
and for those non-believers, make sure y'all are tuning in to this joint practice because Bo Nick's about to show how to operate an offense versus Mac Jones. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen that are hating on my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Bo Nix. Sean Payton is loving what he's seen. You know, all the for his comments. I mean, otherwise he wouldn't have said it, right? If there
Right.
was, if he was feeling uneasy. So, yeah, dude, I'm excited. There's some edge rushers that I'm excited about, like Hugh Robinson. Can he? Of course, he's going to play a role in special teams. I think is probably what mainly will be for
Right.
him this year. Maybe some rotational edge rushing.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it's exciting, bro. I'm so excited about this. Last year around this time, it's a different vibe because we were talking about, oh, well, do we know for sure Bo Nix is going to be him? Is it Jarrett Stidham going to be the guy for the starting quarterback the first 4 weeks because it was an early start? But now we don't even have to worry about that. The quarterback carousel is over, ladies and gentlemen. We just stop that shit right now. We stop paying it to go round and round. We ain't doing that anymore. We don't need to do any more band-aids. So
I'll
I'm
tell you.
excited.
I'll tell you what we didn't touch on though. Like we touched on the secondary, but we didn't really go into detail.
We'll get
Like
into details.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see if Riley Moss is back from pre-injury. Riley Moss, like I want to see him and Jade. Can they lock down? Can they be locked down, or even can they give that secondary that next step to be lethal? So
Yeah, dude.
practices tomorrow. Like I'm ready to see the clips. I'm ready to see the
Yeah.
reports. I want to know. I want to know is
I
Riley
want
Moss.
to know.
I
Don't
want
leave
to
me on the
know.
thread.
You know, is Riley Moss back? Is Jade that guy that we all think he is? So
Yeah, dude, and I know Jade Barron's the shiny new toy of this defense, one of the shiny new toys that we got. Um, so like, but Riley Moss is like, hey, don't forget me. I'm right here. I'm out here. You know, and he's been making plays too.
yeah,
You know, so I think um, I'd be happy as long as both of them are healthy. That's what we want, I think, and they're both gonna make an impact on this defense on that back end. Speaking of shiny new toys, we got two in Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, you know, behind enemy lines, ladies and gentlemen. They show up there to San Francisco Levi Stadium to play. But it's, you know, will they get a lot of run against the Niners? I don't know. I wonder how Sean Payton kind of takes it lightly on the starters? Does he want to see more from any of the other guys within the room? We mentioned Lavelle Bailey. You go to the safety position. Do you get like a Devon Key? You know, Sam Franklin's a special teamer. Well, Skinner, JL Skinner, can he take that next step?
I
You know,
hope
so
so.
we got guys on this roster. We got guys on this roster. I'm a little uneasy for me personally about the offensive line, but you and I were chatting and you kind of pointed out, hey, they got Palczewski. I mean, I know Xavier Truss is a guy that I'm kind of eyeballing right now. He was projected to go in the 6th round, but he didn't. We got him undrafted. We haven't really drafted any linemen, but the thing I'm noticing is we're taking flyers on guys like a Frank Crum, now a Xavier Truss, Clay Webb, you know, so we're getting guys to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if he can come into fruition and do that, you know, be that guy behind, you know, a Quinn Miners or a Powers. You know, I'm excited about Xavier Truss from Georgia.
Yeah.
He's a beast, man. He's athletic. He's versatile. He played tackle for a little bit at Georgia, and he's played guard. I anticipate him being a guard in this offense.
Yep.
So yeah, dude. I mean, we've touched on some good names, bro. Anything else that you want to get at before joint practices?
I don't have anything else left, but to everybody who's tuned in is watching, we appreciate all the love and support. We ask that you go follow us on X at BUCKEM Pod, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be dropping more episodes this week. And remember, if it ain't about the Broncos,
Book them.